Here we go, guys. We've got a scanner here, and there's lots of different types of scanner. This is just a regular flatbed. Sometimes one comes with a printer and fax machine as well. So it's got a plate, and it's got a cover, and it's got a few controls at the front. When you look inside this scanner, the plate shows a little symbol, usually where the object needs to be aligned to. And you'll also notice that if it's a piece of paper, it needs to be put upside down, face down on this glass, because if I want to scan the inside of my hand, I would have to do that. If I want to scan the back of my hand, I would have to do this. The reason is because the sensor, there's a black line that has a ray of light that shoots up. The light hits the object, goes back down and is read by a sensor. So you'll see that move as it goes. Please don't look at it with your eyes because it can harm them. You'll notice that the cover of the scanner has some material here. That's for scanning slides. And in order to get a nice white background for your object to be separated in Photoshop, it's always smart to just be able to have that covered in some way. So use a white sheet of paper over top of what your object is. For example, I'm going to use an oak leaf to start out with. We're going to put that down on the side that we want it done. Put the paper on top of it. Close the bed. And we are ready to scan. Next up, you've got to go to File, just zoom here, File, and Import, and you just check to see which scanner you've got attached. So we've got two that are attached here. The one that we're going to scan to is the 4370. Just double check that here. There it is. And click on that. Now this dialog box shows up. What do you want to scan? You can scan a color picture, and we do want the color for this, but we do want it to be custom. So click on Custom and adjust the quality of the scan picture. Right now you can mess around with brightness and contrast. We don't want to change the appearance of it, but we do want to change the resolution. The default right now is 150. But we need it to be 300 or greater, since the thing that you're scanning is going to be printed out. So 300, color picture, press OK. If you want to, you can preview it. Let's do that first. It'll usually take a second to warm up. And if you lift up, you'll notice that the white light is going through. Please don't lift while you're doing this though. That's just to show you what happened. Okay, so there's my oak leaf. If you're happy with that, go for it. I know that the corner here is a little folded, but for the purposes of this video, we're just going to go ahead and scan that. You'll notice that it already kind of cropped to the different edges of this image. So if you want it to be a little bit bigger, you're welcome to extend that from the corners. So you can extend two things at once, and just make sure it doesn't cut off anything that you want to keep. And press scan. Now this is the one that'll take a little bit longer. Just let it do its thing. Do not touch it. The less vibration on this, the better when it's scanning. When it's done, you will see your document appear on the left. Beautiful leaf. If you want, you can zoom in on that just to see what kind of quality resolution you have. It starts to degrade at about 200%. So it's not the best. If you wanted to use 600 resolution, that might have been more appropriate, but at least you've got a good scan of the leaf. I don't know if you'll need it bigger than 300. If you wanted to print it out big, you would. So the next step is use the magic wand tool. And one way to do this is just click and make sure you have your layer unlocked. Double click on that, unlock that new layer, and now press delete on your keyboard, and it'll delete out most of that. Now the only problem is if you didn't have any tolerance. Let's take a look at the edge of this. You'll notice that the tolerance didn't grab the gray pixels right beside the leaf. There might have been a shadow or something like that. In order to fix that, I would just press Ctrl Z to undo the original delete. Try it again. Use that magic wand tool, click once, click, maybe you get it in a different area, maybe that'll help. But what'll actually contribute to whether or not it's selecting all the pixels you want is how much tolerance you have. So the greater the amount of tolerance, the more it thinks this gray pixel here is going to be the same as this gray pixel or whitish pixel over here. So click again, and if it has, that's a lot better already. And you can kind of scroll around the image and just determine whether that's enough. You can add to the selection by holding down Shift. Change hands here. Watch what happens to that wand when I hold down Shift. There's a little plus sign that occurs right beside it. So when you hold down Shift, let me just do this with two hands here. When you hold down Shift and select those areas, it might jump in there. Press Ctrl Z. You can decrease the tolerance as you add more and more. That's better. That's better. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then you can refine your edge in that manner. Zooming back out, you've got your leaf, you've got the selection around the leaf, you've got your layer unlocked. You don't see a little white lock over here. And now you can press delete, and you'll see all of the gray and white checkerboard pattern reveal that there are no pixels there anymore at all. And in order to deselect, you can press Ctrl D or go up to select and deselect. I don't have it selected anymore, but that's the button you would press, the option you would press, and there you've got your file. Now, images in Photoshop usually save so that they have a full pixel value. The only pixels that are in this image right now are where you can see the leaf. This checkerboard pattern shows that there are no pixels there. You can save it that way so that it's a transparent file. Go to File, Save As. If you ever see this Elements Editor thing, just say Don't Show Again and press OK. And you can save it to your pictures for at least at the beginning, and the format, you can call it your last name dot first name, Wukash Mr. Dash Leaf. Leaf is fine. And instead of the format being PSD, you're going to change the format to be a PNG. PNG files allow for transparency in their documents, and they're pretty small as well. So press save. It'll give you an option of whether to interlace them or not. It doesn't matter to me. I usually just do the default none. Press OK. So that when you guys add these all together to each other in a big file, you'll have only the leaf to move around instead of a background as well. Okay? So, happy creating, and I'll give more instructions on what you'll be creating on the blog.